Hey, Spuddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome to the Babylon Biosphere game. We are making a insane 555 tourism per turn, and it's soon to be more once we pick up computers, and I haven't even finished putting all of my renewable technology down. Look how much land is still untouched by renewable tech. I'm still cranking out endless builders, and it's going really well for me. Now, if you were watching this live on twitch.tv/Potato McWhiskey, you would know that not only do I stream my games when I'm making them, but that we were having a very interesting conversation about public transport that you could have participated in. This is the thing, right? This is 100% the churn episode, because the only thing left to do is to put down renewable technology. Like, that's it. That's all we've got. That's all we've got left. It's the only thing. I think purchasing hydroelectric dams is actually insane for me here. 2,000 gold for like 18 tourism per turn, 19 tourism per turn. That is Uber based, perhaps? I didn't know you could actually get to a level that based, but it is possible, apparently. I've also been working quite heavily on some railroad. You can see it running through my empire quite nicely. This is letting me get builders between my cities quite easily. Plus, I don't know, there's something satisfying about linking up all your cities with rail. It's just something I really, really enjoy doing. And I've started doing it more and more in my games. My agent was captured. I don't really care about my spies at the moment. Like I said, pretty much all of my resources are just going towards building renewable technology, like on cooldown with every builder in my empire. There's like scarce little else that I really need to do here. Now, here's an important question here is, I'm going to ask a question. Does anybody know if I build a solar farm more than 3 tiles away from this city, will it provide me with electricity and will it provide me with tourism? I'm curious to see who knows the answer. I'm pretty sure it doesn't provide tourism, but I'm not sure if it provides power. Not tourism, but I don't know about power. You're correct that it doesn't give you tourism. You cannot get tourism from improvements that are more than 3 tiles away from your city. That much is a fact. Casually shoots barbarians with a submarine in 1240 AD. So true. So true. Oh, it's a frigate. Look at this. It's a casual. I actually, you know what? I want to know. I want to know what that real world matchup is like. If you have a ship of the sail versus a submarine, what sort of horrifying devastation happens to a clipper ship that gets hit by a torpedo? I want to know. I think that's listen. Here's the reason why you're going to like and subscribe and become a member of not only my YouTube channel, but you're going to go over to twitch.tv/Potato McWhiskey and give me a Twitch Prime right now. Because if I get rich enough, I promise I will buy a torpedo and a wooden sail ship, and I will shoot that wooden sail ship with a torpedo, videotape it, and put it on YouTube, okay? That is a potato guarantee right there. That is a promise that I will answer that question. I'm talking like, I'm going to buy like a 400-year-old, maybe not four, maybe that's a bit much, like a 100-year-old, maybe 200-year-old large wooden sailing vessel. There's probably 1 or 2 still knocking around somewhere. And I'm going to hit it with a torpedo. And we're going to do it live on YouTube. Now, if I didn't earn your Twitch Prime right there, I don't know what I'm going to do. God, I wish I'd submitted that as like a question for the Mythbusters back in the day. God, that would be so cool. All right, so we build a solar farm. So interestingly, we check the power map mode, and it does look like it's providing power. Inside this city, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did I count wrong? We have 11 renewable technology within 3 tiles of the city, which means we should be making 66 power, but we're making 72. So that means that this is giving power to this city, even though it's out of range. But unfortunately, you can see here, lifetime accumulation 0. Even though it says it's giving me tourism, I do not believe that I'm actually getting tourism from it. Why do they all say lifetime accumulation 0? That can't be right. That can't be right. Why are they all saying lifetime accumulation 0? They're supposed to accumulate tourism. No? Oh, it's applied to the wonder itself? No? Weird. All right, I don't understand. Never mind. We can't tell. It's inconclusive. So if you guys, unironically, those of you who said, I don't know, you actually got the right answer. Well done. 10 points to Gryffindor, if you're Gryffindor. Otherwise, no other houses are getting points. Gryffindor bias, hashtag. I wear my bias on my sleeves, okay? You're Slytherin through and through. Why would you out me in public? People are going to know okay, was private and personal, confidential information about my status as a Slytherin. No, I think I'm too dumb. I think I'm too dumb to be anything but a Hufflepuff. Let's be real, okay? Hogwarts, like, it's 100% a school for, like, smart kids, right? If you're, like, a little bit dim or slow, you're a Hufflepuff, right? And I'm right there with you. And, you know, I don't mean that to be, like, derogatory. I don't mean, like, you know, slow in a derogatory mean. I just mean, like, you're not, like, the sharpest knife in the... Like, I feel like the sharpest ones are going to Ravenclaw. And then the most charismatic are going to Gryffindor. Even just the straight up like bad dudes are going to Slytherin, and the rest of us are in Hufflepuff. Hufflepuff would actually be the biggest house in the entire place. No, like there's very few of us going to Gryffindor. Let's be real, okay? We didn't make the cut. Well, listen, Hufflepuff 100% has the best parties though. Like nobody could deny that, right? You're telling me you're going to a Gryffindor party or a Ravenclaw party? Excuse me. I'm going to the Hufflepuff party. Thank you very much. What is the tourism standing at the moment? At the moment, we are 31 turns from victory, which is pretty damn nice. Just renewing my alliances. Very nice. Perhaps I shouldn't have gotten a cultural alliance with Congo. I think I'm nearing having enough builders, so I probably don't need quite as many anymore. We're getting to the end game here. God, it is a thing of beauty to just look at all that renewable power. So renewable and permanent magic. Pure magic. I don't understand why these aren't accumulating tourism. It's a bit weird. Maybe it works. It just doesn't display it. There is a way to test it, I think. And I think the way to test it is to load up a city game, give a city all the tiles, and see if you end up with any tourism if you build things outside of the city's range. Because I just assumed that doesn't work, but I think I'm actually wrong now. Now I'm questioning my own knowledge. Because I tested that way back, and I think I may have come to the wrong conclusions. I didn't test it conclusively, which is honestly just a failure on my part, that I let people down with my inconclusive testing. You're going to load up a game and test it? See, I don't trust other people to test it anymore, because I don't even trust myself to test it. And I've been given so much wrong information by people who have said they tested things. So unless I see video evidence and it's explained, I just have a hard time believing what people tell me about this game when it comes to like nuanced mechanics. In the real world, absolutely not. Nuclear is the best option for us at the moment in time. Nuclear was the best option for us in like the 70s and 80s when they originally knew about the climate problem, but did nothing about it. But talking about nowadays, I don't think nuclear is the best choice anymore. It's an okay choice, but the problem is that a lot of the institutional knowledge that we use to build nuclear power has actually just been lost because of the unpopularity of nuclear power. They haven't been built. People have lost trust in them. And we just don't know how to build nuclear power like we used to. I know it sounds like a really like strange thing to say, but like France doesn't have the institutional knowledge to build nuclear power plants anymore. Germany certainly doesn't anymore. They're not building nuclear power plants. That sort of like efficiency for building nuclear power plants comes from doing it consistently over and over and over again, so that you run into the same problems are solved, and you train up some of the greatest engineers and construction crews in the world. And that's just gone now. We don't have those anymore. Those crews have all retired. Those people don't exist. They're gone. Those skills are done. It would take decades, and I mean decades, for us to get back even a fraction of the institutional knowledge that we would have had we kept building nuclear in places like France and in the USA at the scale that we should have been building them had we acted quickly on the climate problem. That's my take on it. That's like my honest view of things. France is committing to small nuclear power plants. That's good, actually. If they are, now, my information might be a little bit outdated here. I think nuclear power is really good, but I think it's not the panacea that people make it out to be. If there is like information that maybe changes that, I'll soften my stance on that slightly. I'll take the L and say, okay, maybe it's not quite as bad as I made it out to be. Yeah, look at all this renewable power. Like almost every tile in my empire is just renewables now. It's like a nice chunk in the center where there's nothing happening. We're up to nearly 876 tourism per turn. How much did I have when I started this? I don't even remember. But I know I've only gone through a few turns here and my tourism has absolutely jumped. We're up to 43 out of 194 tourists. What about meltdown problems or how long waste is a problem? Both of those are like easily mitigated. And even if they were 10 times worse than they are in reality, they still don't even approach the climate catastrophe that coal and gas and all that sort of stuff approaches. Did you know that coal is radioactive? Like a huge percentage of coal. I know this is like a big talking point meme, right? But listen, coal is radioactive and they just shoot up. Well, I don't know if they do anymore, but they used to just shoot those vapors up into the sky. At least with nuclear radiation, you bury it in a hole. We have long-term storage solutions. I think Finland or Norway has built like a facility in a mountain where they can seal off radioactive material for like hundreds of years, no problem, or even permanently. So it's not an unsolvable problem. Yeah, coal causes like untold amounts of lung cancer. You've probably lost years off your life because you live in a society that burns coal. Like years. You've lost years of your life. They have been taken from you. Now, granted, your quality of life is probably higher because you have access to the energy that coal provides. So there is a trade-off there. But we don't have to be burning coal. We could do, there are other options, right? It's called Onkalo and it's in Finland. Yeah, I see, I'm not super read up on like latest energy stuff. I'm only kind of vaguely familiar with some things that I haven't done research on it, right? So don't take me as an authority. I'm just a talking head here, all right? I'm just a guy talking to a microphone because I'm in the churn. Coal is bad. Coal is just like really, like we shouldn't be, same thing with the public transport thing. We shouldn't be burning coal at a society level. Like we should be beyond it by now. We should be long beyond it. We should be developing renewable technology or clean technology and then transferring that technology to countries like India for free. Like they just give them the technology for free, assist them, because India isn't going to sit around and be like, well, we're just going to not improve our economy by not burning coal. But you could theoretically help India by giving them the technology for free, giving them the money, the finance to build those things, finance the schools to train the people to run them. And then it would be like a huge cooperation with India, which would, you know, if you're talking politically, would also have huge steps towards amending the colonial perception that India has of the rest of the world. That they're just like, the whole world wants to keep India down is like a narrative that a lot of people in India feel. But if you're an Indian, it makes sense. Because all these countries went around polluting for hundreds of years. And then they're like, 1 billion people in India, that's the problem. It's like, and they're like, listen, the United States uses up a quarter of the world's like resources. You're telling us India is the problem? That's how they feel. At least that's what I've seen some people say. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's exactly true. I'm spitballing here because we're in the churn. We're churning. Problem with wind farms, where do you put them? Wind farms are a tough one. They're like objectively good, as far as I can tell, over alternative choices. But they do have negative consequences for the environment. I don't know how many, are they bad for birds? Maybe objectively good was maybe the bad way to phrase that. Maybe a bad way to say it. Maybe a bit hyperbolic. But I know wind farms are good in the sense that they achieve the goal that we want, but there may be like side effects. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. There are downsides. That's what I want to say. There's downsides to wind. But you can put wind literally anywhere. Like, what's wrong with putting wind places? The problem with nuclear power plants is, yes, they're super energy efficient and they generate a lot of electricity over a long period of time. But the problem is you can build a coal power plant, 5 to 10 years, you're in profit. Nuclear power plant, you're in year like 18 and you're only just starting to make a profit. Now, you'll continue to make a really good profit for like 30 to 40 years beyond that, whereas the coal power plant is already, it's probably getting decommissioned by that time. But that's the thing. Nuclear takes a long time to pay off, which is why it should be funded with society level debt, right? Like government debt that the people hold on. And we say, we are going to accept this debt because we know that in the long run, it'll actually work out as being better for us. And that's exactly the sort of like government debt that we should be using and using to invest in our economy and in our resources and in our stuff, right? Nuclear fusion can be a great solution, but it's still a long road. Dude, nuclear fusion is at current technological pace, as far as I can tell, from the like very tiny amount of research that I've looked into and reading a couple of like people who are in the know opinions, nuclear fusion is practically a pipe dream as it currently stands, right? The sheer amount of energy you have to input, the sheer difficulty in containing the plasma, the sheer difficulty in getting the energy densities back out of it that you need. It's like an incredibly big, complicated problem. Not impossible, not theoretically possible, but we're just not there technologically yet. The NIMBY is real, but I don't want turbine blocking my view. Listen, maybe I'm crazy, okay? But I actually think turbines look cool as hell. Am I crazy? I feel like they look awesome. I don't know. I feel like you look at a countryside and you add a few turbines on them and they look awesome. I don't know if I'm mental, but they're like giant mechanical trees. I don't know, I think I'm just mental. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird because I thought Paris was really, really cool. A lot of people were like, "Oh, Paris is very close and like all the buildings loom on top of you." And I was like, "Dude, that's awesome. It's like living in a cozy little future town." You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm nuts. Things are looking great. We're up to 1,000 tourism per turn, 34 turns from winning. I don't know why that number has stayed stagnant, weirdly enough. We will get computers soon, and we're not far off of suffrage, and we can start maybe getting a few extra great works to make this a little bit smoother. I was expecting a little bit more tourism, to be honest. But to be fair, well, not a little bit more, but like I was expecting this. Maybe this number is deceiving me. It's lying. I have trade routes and open borders with almost everyone. Oh no, I'm actually missing some open borders. Hang on, let me go through the list. Open borders with Jayavarman, open borders with Gorgo, open borders with Chinggis. Yeah, I was missing a few open borders. I think that was part of my problem there. That should speed things up a little bit because that's 250 tourism per player per turn. So that'll help a lot, I feel. Oh, these are floodplains. There's no point removing the farms on them. Thank you. But is potato at a point where food and production don't matter? I don't understand how this is the most effective way to generate lots of tourism due to needing lots of worker. These generate tourism without being worked. So I don't care about food anymore. I don't care about production anymore. The only thing I care about is making builders and building these renewables because I have the biosphere. It's cranking out tourism regardless. So things are just fine, right? We're just fine. Which side needs open borders? I need to get their borders to be open. You need their borders. I usually just do mutual open borders because it's like a relationship thing. It improves the relationship with the other player to like give them mutual, I think. Can't remember exactly off the top of my head. There's a reason why I do it, and there's scarce few downsides. It might be like a small optimization to not do it exactly how I do it. But usually what I do is I get to a point of optimization where it's good enough. I don't go for like, oh, it needs to be perfect. Once it's good enough, I'm happy. Saving money for Big Ben, I've literally nothing to spend my money on except for great people for great works. I guess, actually, theoretically, I could go around and buy archaeologists because that represents a tourism boost. I just need to remember what cities actually have archaeologists available. Like I could grab an archaeologist in Baby Shark, grab an archaeologist in Karkar, then buy archaeological museums and stuff like that. Like there's nothing in here that I can build that gets me extra tourism right now. There just is nothing I can build in here that gets me. I mean, yeah, there's nothing worth building in here to get me tourism. So what the hell do I do? I mean, I guess Theatre Square festivals for more great works? A water park maybe? It seems like an awful lot of production to invest for a very, very small gain when I'm making like 1,000, like it would get me 2 tourism, you know? It seems like it's just a big investment with a very, very small payoff. And like, I'm not entirely against that, but when I'm getting like for a single builder, 30 tourism per turn more, it's more like 35 tourism per turn per builder. Why wouldn't I just spam builders and then kind of AFK until the game ends, right? Oh, hello, Caravel. I don't know why scalable means it's easier to implement in smaller scale than conventional turbines. Isn't there like an efficiency thing where the bigger the turbine you have, the more efficient it is? Aren't smaller turbines, don't they like suffer more from friction and stuff? The big turbine has a lot of mass and stuff that like works towards its advantage. I feel like I remember something like that, like large scale. When you're talking about electricity generation, generally larger is actually better. Like wind turbines and stuff, and even what's the word I'm looking for? You know, the turbines that are driven by water, hydro turbines. I can't remember what they're called, or even steam turbines. They're like bigger is better. Finally, starting to run out of tiles to improve. And if you have any wonder why I have yields turned off, it's because like it's just assaulting me at this point. Although my Empire does look interesting if you turn off the UI. It's kind of neat. Larger is better, but the difference between 2 and 6 is not about efficiency, but height and therefore wind velocity. But yeah, I'll assume you're telling the truth because I don't remember. I don't remember enough to contest you. I thought I like vaguely remember being like bigger turbines are better because you can get more force through them. They're more economic. They're more efficient in terms of like input resources versus output energy. Again, I don't remember enough or know enough to contest it, so I won't. Now, like, look, in theory, I could put a seaside resort here for +4 gold and +4 tourism, or I could put down a solar farm and immediately get 7 tourism per turn. Like, it's just insane what this build can do. I can't get over the fact they're able to split atoms and use that energy to run steam turbines. That is kind of cool, but it's not, I don't know if that's exactly what we're doing. We're kind of just like containing them and encouraging them to split rather than like going in and splitting them. We're kind of like really just harnessing natural processes of decay. Let's go ahead and switch into the democratic government. There is computers giving us a 25% tourism boost across our empire, and we have access to democracy. And we can finally plug in things like the New Deal is powerful, powerful stuff. We should also be looking for, what am I looking for again? Anything that gives me tourism. I think we're mostly happy here. I think we're kind of done. I'll just plug in Mercantile Legacy, let things chooch along for a little bit, and then I will go for the tourism-y stuff. So tourism-y stuff includes shopping malls, shipwrecks. I think we want that 100% tourism from great works of artifacts and great works of art and artifacts. We would also like to rush for environmentalism for that extra 25% tourism across the empire. Theater squares are actually net negative tourism for me right now. So weird to say that out loud. Like, sometimes the best thing I can do in my cities is nothing right now because I'm already making the tourism I need. That's crazy. 3 armies or armadas. I think we're entering into the end game now in terms of like, there's actually very little we can do as a player except wait. Like, we're almost there. We're almost at that point where there's very little we can do to encourage the game to continue. And it's usually around this point that I feel like I'm done with the game anyway. So it's honestly, it feels perfectly timely. It's almost turn 200. And we're going to win in 20 turns. But I imagine that's going to be slightly faster because we did just pick up computers. So that's going to speed things up just a smidge. We're constantly optimizing. And I do feel like it's important to optimize up until the end. Not like entirely, but I think now, like, for example, I don't need the huge production of this city. 112 production, while good, isn't necessary. And I could just kind of wipe out the city's stuff. Can you explain the negative net tourism from theater squares? Yeah, sure. Basically, in order for me to place a theater square, right, I have to put it on a wind farm tile and then build buildings in it and then fill those buildings with great works. And all that time, I'm missing out on 8 tourism per turn now. Which is like, that's 8 tourism. I'm missing out on 8 tourism per turn until I not only fully build this theater square, but then earn the great work to put in it. So like, theater squares are net negative tourism compared to these buildings. Which is kind of a nutty thing to say in a game, but like kind of fun too. How could the AI still prevent your win if they were smart? If the AI was smart, like the Congo here, he would probably just convert his entire civilization towards military production, and Russia would convert his entire civilization towards culture production while giving Congo all of his gold. And then Congo would get aircraft and artillery and tanks and try to blow me out of the water. Unfortunately, the AI doesn't think like players. Oh, a meteor shower. Yoink. Free tank. All right, I'll take it. Here's something I think. I think you should be able to get tourism from the adjacency of your theater squares. That's an ability. There should be like some late game thing you can do. Like maybe super late game. There's like a wild card policy in the future era that lets you get tourism from there. It would come up very rarely, but I think it would be an interesting ability for the player to have access to. And I think on that merit alone makes it interesting enough to include in the game. That's my hot take. I have 3 armies or armadas. Let me have a look. I have 2 armies. I need a third. The cheapest unit I can buy. Cheapest unit I can buy is a bombard. 1 bombard. 2 bombards. Combine them together and we'll have combined arms done. Can I theme a building? I can trade with Dido. Another trade route international. That's extra tourism. 23 turns until I win. Why is that getting longer? That's not how that number should be going, in my opinion. Is there an echo on in-game actions, or is it you? I don't hear an echo. Turn it up to full. No, I don't hear it. The in-game actions do sound weird. For some reason, my game sounds weird, and I haven't been able to figure out why. Something went weird with my sound. So if the game sound weird, they sound weird to me too. And I can't explain why, but it's not an echo. Casual 1400 tourism. Casual 100 tourists in the bank. Casual. I think I'm reaching the point of no more land. We check again. There's a good little chunk of land over here that's unfit. A little bit of land over here, but more or less, we're there. We have chooched at maximum chooch. There's not much more we can chooch. There's a little bit of land in here we could do. I think I almost perfectly predicted how many builders I would need, but I do have a little bit of spare gold to get another builder or 2. I was close. Let's get this dam up because we want to buy the hydroelectric dam. Probably should be selling resources. I just tested it, and renewable energy improvements 4 and 5 tiles away from the city do generate tourism and acquire tourism from other civilizations, but the UA doesn't like it, and they say they've generated zero tourism and credit all the visiting tourists to the biosphere. Also, seaside resorts do not generate tourism outside the third ring. That's interesting because my original test was seaside resorts, was the thing I used to test this. It's interesting that none of these tiles have tourism. It's like an interesting bug. I wonder if this number is accurate now. It should be. No, it should be fine. How about replacing those mines? Yeah, that's what I'm working on next. So let's go ahead and combine these units together. Boom, there's combined arms. So I have access to uranium now, if I so choose. I don't think I choose. I don't think I really mind that much having it. One oil power plant, boost through a great scientist or spy. Really what I want is globalization. That requires me to build 2 airports. It could be done. Could be done. How many tourists does the Biosphere have? 0, weirdly enough. It has like 1. Maybe that's like a game reload thing. Power isn't a tile yield. That probably explains why it doesn't show up in the tooltip properly, maybe. Any ski resorts available? I haven't unlocked ski resorts yet. I have lots of room for ski resorts. I just haven't unlocked them yet. And I think it'd be worth it to get the 25% tourism boost before I get ski resorts. To clarify, seaside resorts and presumably other improvements don't generate tourism if they're in the 4th and 5th ring. Only solar and wind farms do. That is an interesting and unintuitive answer to the question. And I really appreciate you doing the research on that. And I'm going to trust you for now and assume that that's correct. But I will be testing that myself someday. But that is an important piece of information in just knowing like the nuance of the game's mechanics. Does it show up in the city center? No. Weird. For some reason, the Biosphere isn't being credited with these tourists. It's very odd. Because I should be getting like 6 tourists per turn, because I should have enough tourism against all of these players to get a tourist per turn now, or close to. Do you always play for tourism victory? Not always, but it is my favorite victory type, so it's the one that I'm going to do usually the most. I think it's most people's favorite victory type. I think most people like doing the domination and tourism. Those are like the 2 main victory types people like. It's like an interesting dichotomy. Maybe there's some glimpse of the human mind that you can glean from that information. Add all the numbers up. 11, 12, 22, 28, 47, 53, 60, 68, 72, 77, 83, 84, 85, 91. Am I not getting my tourism from these things? Or are they all just getting like suctioned into these? I think they might just be getting suctioned to the things that are generating tourism. Because there's no way with a lifetime accumulation of 466 tourism that this should have 7 tourists. Am I crazy to say that? I don't think I am. There's no way this is working. I think what's happening here is I'm getting the tourism from these, but the credit for the tourists is being like suctioned and siphoned into places like the Apadana. It's an interesting problem because these numbers are way too high for how much tourism it's generated. Like this thing has made 100 tourism and it has 2 tourists. There's no way because the price of a tourist is like 1,800 at the moment. Crazy. But the good news is we're still 20 turns from winning. How? I don't understand. I think that's what was happening to me, Potato. I was generating 5 tourists per turn, but because the Biosphere was the only thing the game thinks could generate tourism, it got credit. I think that's exactly what happened. You're 100% right, and that it is what is happening. So we are getting the tourism. It's not bugged. It's working as intended, and we have solved some problems. 13 turns. That's a little bit more like it. We're sitting on 16 envoys. There's no reason I don't have suzerainty of most of these city-states. So I'm just going to yoink them. I've got an insane amount of envoys. I may as well just be suzerain of everyone, to be honest. There's no reason not to be. I'm surprised I didn't find the natural wonders that I was looking for. They're probably out there somewhere. I guess, in theory, my faith could be used to get... Oh, there's Greta again. In theory, my faith could be used to get, like, grey people a little bit sooner for tourism. I'm about to have rockmans. That's actually a good point. Why did I spend my resources? I'm so dumb sometimes. I make these, like, rash, quick... in the moment decisions, and I just spent 1,000 faith for no reason. Boom, archaeologist. Oh, all this fighting I did over here made a bunch of shipwrecks. I think we've only got like 2 or 3 tiles left, right? This has to be 1, 2. These have to be the 2 last improved. Wait, are these floodplains? I don't think these are floodplains. I might be able to improve these. A torpedoed wooden boat is a relic now. That's true. It's very true. Now, so there's Cold War. Now, we are up against Russia's culture here. So if I snag myself just one or two cheeky rock bands here, they'll have some mines. Yeah, there's a couple mines here and there. More or less renewable. I don't care that much about her, but I'll take her. Yeah, it is a problem that I have this many great people of Mongolia because I'm having trouble using them all. First rock band is up. Let's go ahead and buy another. I like to buy them one by one. I don't know. It gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling. All right, that's why I do it. Water park, national parks, and natural wonders. Ooh, not what we were looking for. We will take goes to 11. Asylum culture. Do not let me down. Asylum culture is actually a great band name in the real world. Any risk of AI wins? No, I'm stupidly far ahead. I'm like insane. Like they don't even have rocketry. I would be like, no one has domination. No one has religion. It's like, it's insane how far ahead I am right now. Like this is ridiculous. Genuinely ridiculous. Like if you pointed this game at a Bogart, it would probably just die. 167, 230. Peter's culture is a problem. Oh my God, why is his culture increasing so quickly? What is he doing? He just got 20 domestic tourists in one turn. He's only making... Why is he getting so much culture? Where is he getting so much culture? Is he boosting? That's ridiculous. He just got 20 tourists in one turn. This number shouldn't be going up that quickly. Moon landing, there's no way he hasn't even got rocketry. Water Zombies is another good name for a band. Russia's using viewbots. I don't know if that's how that works, but probably. I need to look at this number again, because what I just witnessed was actual insanity, and it explains exactly why. So this says 246, okay? It should go down by 1 from me, and up by 3 from Peter's passive culture. Yeah, so it went up by 2. So whatever he did last turn was insane to give him 20 tourists. Because like how it works is, you get this divided by 100 domestic tourists per turn, and then I take this number divided by 1800 domestic tourists away from him every turn. So he should be gaining 2 every turn because he's getting 3. I'm taking 1. Bada bing, bada boom. I should be eating away, and I'm also taking away from everyone else and slowly getting more. So like mental to see him jump up by 20 in a single turn. Boom. Rock bands don't give you culture. Unit lost, 2000 tourism. That's an extra tourist I just stole off of him. Perfect. Unit lost. Okay. Bad luck. I rolled low. But that's an extra 2 tourists that I've just taken off of Russia. That's 2,000 direct tourism. How would you like a change to make units have no maintenance of resources if they don't move or attack? Maybe. I can kind of see where you're coming from with that one. So he's at 248. I stole an extra 2 tourists this turn, so he should actually stay on 248. No, he went down by 1. Okay, so I managed to pass a threshold there. Yeah. I think I'm going to do reform the coinage again. This is looking very familiar. In fact, it looks like the exact same choices. I feel like I'm getting screwed by something that I have no control over because this game should have been over. It should have been over a long time ago, but I've just been had, to be honest. I feel like the Wish You Were Here dedication should show up 1 era earlier. I feel like that too, because if you think about it, you get national parks in the modern era, so surely it should show up in the modern era. No? Am I crazy? Right, give me a good promotion. None of these wishy-washy, wibbly-wobbly promotions. Give me a nice, solid theater squares. Okay, I could take theater squares. Pink turns. Do I have enough relics now to theme a museum? Oh, we can do it. Wait, ancient artifact. Ah, no. You want the color to be the same and the numbers to be different, right? Color, same, number, different. So this, and this, and this, and this. This. Oh, I could theme this actually. 1, 2, 3, 4 theming. This is the theming helper, by the way. It's a really, really nice mod. Makes it easier to theme things. 25% extra tourism is coming from environmentalism now. We're only 6 turns away. Happy dappy dappy days. Scrappy dappy dappy do. Does anyone know if it's possible to give traders extra movement? Does anyone know? Can we get a mod where traders have extra movement so they complete their trade routes faster in the late game? Because it's kind of mental that they don't. Disrupt rocketry, I guess. I'll take those points. And I'll vote for range units. World's Fair has passed. Saladin got the diplomatic victory points. Range units won, and disrupting rocketry is easier. So that's quite good for me because I don't have any rocketry to disrupt. World's Fair, diplomatic victory points. I probably could have had like another 5 diplomatic victory points if I was trying, which would have me almost in range of actually a win, but I didn't care enough. I didn't care. That's why I didn't win Copium. So on the theater square, here we are, right? 26% chance of failure, 250 tourism, 100 albums sold. Now, the important thing to think about albums sold is basically divide this by 100, and that's the multiplier for your tourism. So these guys now may now make double tourism, basically. And the fact that he didn't die there is kind of a boon. Let's buy another builder. How are we doing on Grey People points? Anyone important coming up? +1 appeal on tiles, no one asked. Are you assuming motorized traders should move faster than camels? Yes, that is the assumption I'm making. This is floodplains. Am I just stupid and did I misread this tooltip? Statue of Liberty is available for 4 victory points. Yeah, but I would have needed to have won the emergencies where you send people gold, but I didn't bother. If I had done those and been a bit more diligent about the World Congress, I could have had 19 points and won a diplomatic victory point. How is this also a diplomatic victory? That's nuts. I'm actually like I would have done a diplomatic victory point like almost as fast as I did this tourism win. Very odd. Global relations, hover over myself. Let's look for agreements. I'm looking for anyone I don't have open borders with. It looks like Dido is the only person I don't have open borders with. That's the handy thing. This is why I love UI mods like this. Because it just makes, at a glance, I can see what I need to do. Like, I know I don't have an embassy with Genghis, for example. Send him an embassy. He won't take it. But you know what I mean. In theory, it's helpful. This is just a plains tile. So I can put a thingy there. How do you feel about scaled max trade turn durations, kind of like 525? I think they should just move faster. Like, just make them move. You know, you get to cartography. They move +1 faster. Seems reasonable to me. Traders would move faster around then. And then around combustion, +3 movement. Easily done. So then your trade routes get twice as fast and then 3 times as fast at those respective technologies. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do on theater squares exclusively with this rock band because this is my only hope to like generate a smidge of extra tourism against Russia. You wish the final tier of government was better. Extra culture at the end of the game is basically useless. Well, that's because you're not thinking about what it's actually useful for. This is for defending against culture victories and for getting the future civic. Future civic gives you governor titles and diplomatic favor. At that point, you should have nothing to buy or build anymore. So the culture becomes very useful. How did this ironclad oh, I have no oil. Absolutely dunk on my poor little sub. All right, let's do it. Theater Square, 250 tourism from this venue, 26% chance they die. A little bit of tourism and a 50 album sold. Not horrendous. Not horrendous. Did you manage your museums to get those boosts? Yeah, I linked them all up. They're doing what they're doing. You want same color, different number when you're doing museums. All right, what have I got left to improve? I guess I could change this tile. Who else is using bans? Russia is using bans. But bans don't give you culture. Rock bands do not give you culture, so they can never increase this number. Never. Ever. They cannot increase this number. You cannot increase this number with rock bands as far as I'm aware. I can almost reach Mongolia. Theme the green items. I cannot. There are no items left to theme. I can theme the yellows. So this number should go up by 8 or 9. 8 or 9, right? So it should go to 404. It didn't go up quite as much, even though I'm making insane culture. Weird. Why didn't it go up as much as I expected? That's odd. Did Russia use... Russia used a rock band on me and absolutely smashed me with that rock band. That's what happened there. Okay. Makes sense. Meanwhile, I'm happy to get 1,000 tourism out of my rock bands. I think we should win very soon. Yep. I think I'll just shift enter this turn. I think that's our Biosphere run, boys. Our Biosphere run. Can you... I clapped my hands and took my hands off the keyboard, Mongolia. Why would you send me a diplomatic proposal on the turn that I'm winning the game? Sir, why haven't I won yet? What is... Okay, that's all she wrote, boys. No sub 200? Listen. We built the Biosphere sub 200, okay? I got actually dicked by Russia that game. It's actually disgusting what he did to me. The amount of culture... Like, where is he getting this culture from? The audacity of Peter to be generating this much culture in my video game right now. Look at this. I should have won here, but look at this culture. Most important graph. You guys haven't been allowed to see it for a while, but we're bringing it back. We're bringing back the Grey People Earned graph. It's your favorite graph. I know you guys love it. You guys always ask me if you can see it. Wait. Oh, this isn't your favorite graph? Oh, you want to see which one is it? What graph do you want to see? Oh, total religions. Okay, there you go. Best graph. This has to be like an inside joke of Firaxis. Like it has to be. Or else, like, does this hint at possibly it was possible to found more than one religion? Because that has been a thing in Civ games before. Oh yeah, you guys don't even know what secrets I have in store. We're gonna go through the graphs here, right? Buildings constructed, pretty standard. I'm actually kind of surprised though that I upticked so early into the game. Hammurabi is insane. And this is mostly off the back of building monuments, granaries, and palgums, that I was actually able to overtake the AI in buildings built on turn like 80 in this game, which is insane, insanity. You never see that. I usually don't overtake the AI until turn 160. So put that into perspective. Like, Babylon is crazy. Districts constructed. That makes kind of sense. Yeah, I would expect to be behind in districts for the vast majority of the game. Earned quite a surprising number of grey people, although quite late into the game. Number of combats. I mostly avoided combat here. I had to fight a few barbs. Player gold. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. Wonders constructed. Surprisingly, I was joint tied for the most wonders constructed this game. I usually never build this many wonders. Did you show the map history yet? Oh yeah, it's coming. Let me tell you. Okay, just one more turn. Now, you might be wondering, what is this button right here? What is this button? What does it do? Let me tell you about this button. Okay? You remember back when you would finish a game of Civ 4 or Civ 5 and you'd see a screen that would look like this. Not exactly like this, but something like this. All right? This is, my friends, a full replay of the entire game built into a Civ 6 mod. Look at that. 218 turns. Sweet. There's me finding city-states. Found a tribal village there too. You can see it happening. Oh, look, I found Congo over here to the east. This is a mod that is available. And I'll be doing a video on it because it's that awesome. Look at this. More tribal villages hiding over here. Second city. The most important city that I settled this game. What I like is it tells me what's on the tile too. I could be like, oh, I had quarry gypsum here. I know there's like, oh, there's uranium there. There's like marble around. Gypsum here. Gypsum here. Like, you can actually like get useful information from this screen. It's crazy. I love this. Whoever built this is like a mad genius. The scientific city-state. There's Hattusa, Taruga. All right, let's speed it up a little bit. Boop. Hanging Gardens. More cities founded. Cities getting founded. Oh, Ford settled me a little bit there. Boom. Ford settled Greece. This is obviously Greece's territory. It's beyond the mountain range. And I very clearly Ford settled Greece here and here. This is very clearly a Ford settle. There's the Apadana. Rapicum founded. Now I'm going to found a bunch of cities along this northern coastline, all in quick succession. We're like, bam, bam, bam. 2, 3, 4. It'll happen. 3, 4. Look at all these cities down. And then about 30 to 40 turns from now, exploration happens. Proper coastal exploration. There's Alhambra, Ruhr Valley. There's the Ruhr Valley that we built. Exploration is happening. Oh, we finding the world. We're revealing things. What are the gears? The gears are barbarians, I believe. The world got snapped into its old or proper position, rather. The barbarian outpost over here. Oh, a bit of battling going on. Colossus captured Knossos. I didn't actually capture it. It flipped to me. Just to be clear, there was no violence involved. Why were they mad? I meant like insane, not mad, not like angry. Like they're crazy. Whoever made this is like a madman. But that was it. That was the whole game replay. 218 turns of glorious solar farm building. Look at this empire that we have. This is one of the coolest mods ever, by the way. It's one of my favorite mods. Look at this glorious empire. I'm going to take a screenshot of that, actually. This is like too good to not screenshot and post. Magical. So that was a fun game. I really enjoyed that.